Now, in many ways, we've talked about the situation in general in Switzerland as regards to social economy. But specifically, we'd like to concentrate a little more closely on professional practice and reality there. And so we have asked some of our entrepreneurs to describe to us what their daily lives look like. And Barbara Buser will be starting for us. She really is responsible for that. Well, she actually helped establish this center. We can only be here today in Halle 7 because some years ago she helped put together Gundeldinger Feld, which is where we are just now. Barbara, over to you. Thank you very much indeed. And welcome to Gundeldinger Feld. I'm delighted that this forum can take place here because it was for these very purposes that we founded Gundeldinger Feld. I grew up in this area, and 21 years ago, there was something in the newspaper about this plot of land being sold. The factory that was in operation for over 100 years here was moved to Oberwinterthur, and the buildings were condemned to destruction, and there was only so many people allowed to live here under the circumstances. And for Basel, of course, this was a very difficult situation because housing is in such great demand. And actually what we wanted here is to have somewhere for us all to congregate, a living room, if you like. There are 2 or 3 parks in the vicinity, say, but not really anywhere where you can just spend time that is sheltered from the elements and for accessible to those who live in the district. There were 3 of us. We read the article in the newspaper and decided that this was really something where we had to get our foot in the door. There was no other way. And so we wrote to Sulzer Immobilien and we said we would really like to buy this site. They invited us to come and visit, and they encouraged us to calm down, said they would put together a portfolio and then we could apply for this. And of course we did that, and we offered as much as we possibly could, not in terms of money, but in terms of paying up and receiving the keys. Then we were given these halls, bought them, and if you like, this is our common room for the district, and this is what we wanted to create. We had a huge event, invited everyone, and we asked people, what do you need? And we got over 400 requests. So we had a fax machine where we were receiving all of these requests, and we categorized them. And now we have 23 tenants who pay their rent. It's a little bit lower than market value, but it works for us. We found investors who bought the land, and in line with the Merian Stiftung mentality, they gave us the building rights. So what we have now, initially it was 12 million that it would have cost, but what we pay actually is the interest on the building rights, and we had to pay a sole franc to have access to the buildings. This was made possible by banks, by the Alternative Bank in particular, and in doing so we were able to invest 19 million, and we then had about 14,000 square meters at our disposal to use for these good purposes. Now, you can see here, let's look back, the entire building. You can see that these have changed a little bit. Some glass has been installed, some roofs have been removed to make things a little more open. We've written a book on this. It's quite a similar picture on the front here. And you are welcome to have one of these, which you purchase one. There's a great deal of information in there. After around 15 years, we had really picked up some speed, and we had repurposed some of these buildings, working with interesting tenants who had decided to do some renovations of their own. This was a sustainable approach for tenancy. And so we had very little in terms of debt, mortgages, but then tax happens. You earn so much money on this site, this must be commercial, surely this is worth so much more than before, but this is not actually what we want. We are a public limited company. We decided against the cooperative as a legal form, but we ran into some issues with the taxman, as you can imagine, and the 5 people who had started out then decided to gift the shares to a foundation. We'd essentially gifted the content of the shares, if you like, so that we could continue to do our work and as quickly as possible. And I have another picture for you here from inside. This is the hall next door. And for instance, my office is in here. This used to be a library, and now it will be moved elsewhere. So, welcome. If you have any questions, you might find answers in our book, and otherwise I'm happy to take your call or your messages. We're here for you. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. An excellent project and a great hall. We are happy to be here today, and I hope you all have an opportunity to get to know these halls a little more yourselves if you're ever in Basel. Now, the labour market then. We'll be hearing from Paola Gallo. She is CEO of Jobfactory, and this is a combination of education and assuring people jobs. Dear social entrepreneurs and those who are interested in this field, well, the Jobfactory is a success story. Alessandro Bertinosi is one of several success stories at the Jobfactory. Alessandro came to us to an internship at the Jobfactory when he was looking for work. Afterwards, he was able to finish a form of education in commercial work with us. A short while later, he came back to work for us in a more full capacity. Of course, this is an excellent case because he progressed to head up one of our departments, and he said that he received the opportunity from Jobfactory to be able to pursue what he wanted to do and help find myself. And now I have the opportunity to help others find themselves. I am stronger thanks to the Jobfactory. Now, for around 250 young people, Jobfactory provides chances to young people. If people are looking for an internship, they are referred to the foundation, and there they have the opportunity to discover what their strengths are, what their potential is. To do this, they put together an individual curriculum, and we provide support in finding them a placement. They do this for 1 day of the week. For the other 4 days, they pursue as is the case for the dual education system in Switzerland, other areas of the Jobfactory, whether this be in the print store, in the hairdressers, in the music store, in the general store, in IT, in the restaurant, in takeaway, in facility management, or as part of a construction team. And in these roles, they feel how it is to be part of the workforce for the first time. Benji was another one of these 250 young people. When he came to the Jobfactory, he took his chance, and the internship showed him what it is he wanted to achieve in his professional life, what was fun for him. And it transpired that he wanted to be a mediamatics expert. Now, he wondered whether he could actually pursue this at the Jobfactory, and we realized that unfortunately this was not something that we could accommodate. But Benji wasn't disencouraged. He decided to pursue IT and marketing. He visited those departments, and today he is in his second year of education in mediamatics. Jobfactory offers opportunities and opens doors. We encourage people to take these opportunities, and this success story now continues. Soon you will all be able to buy a share in the Jobfactory, and you can also help people to pursue opportunities in this way. I would love to see you at our next annual general meeting of shareholders. Thank you. Thank you very much, Paola. Applause even from our viewers here behind the scenes. Of course, we all want to help people take opportunities, as you do. Now, our next speaker approached a very basic problem in everyday life, really. We all go for lunch, and then after lunch, we'll pour our disposable tableware in the bin, and this is something that you really want to overcome. Now, how could you do that? How did this work? Ursina Haslebacher is going to tell us how from reCIRCLE. Thank you. I would like to open with an African proverb. If many little people in many little places do many little things, they can change the face of the earth. reCIRCLE is the Swiss network for reusable tableware in the takeaway industry. This means that the customers of our restaurant partners are able to use this reusable tableware, and it can be transported from partner to partner. This applies to short and to small and to larger chains. And so the transition from disposable to reusable is made as simple as possible. Now, we are a company, yes, but we are also a movement, and our vision is always at the center of our endeavors. It is for this reason that we work with restaurants in partnership. We have an active exchange of ideas with them, and reCIRCLE only really works if the system is correctly implemented in restaurants and properly explained, because behavioral changes are the main part of this, and that requires communication. There are 12 of us in our team at reCIRCLE, and our team is very diverse, but we all have the same goal, namely making reusable tableware the gold standard in everyday life. These items are the color aubergine, if you like, and we feel that this color stands for this behavioral change. It has to become visual to make it sustainable in the long run and have it take off all on its own. So this is a very recognizable color, and it's working because more and more people are choosing to use this system, and every person who chooses to do so is a win. Every little counts. Now, for me, it's very important when I go through town at lunchtime and I see one of these reCIRCLE boxes. It's really a pick-me-up, because it shows me that we're making a difference and society can make this change. It's a driver for me. A few years ago, Janet Murad had the idea of building a network of this kind, and at the time, she wasn't taken seriously. As a woman in her 40s, a mother of two, nobody really believed that she could make this happen, but she had great conviction of self, and she believed that this was going to be a success. She put all her eggs in one basket and put everything into reCIRCLE. Now, today, the reCIRCLE box replaces 55 disposable packaging units. That's around 1,000 garbage bags worth, which is equivalent to 9 tons of CO2. At reCIRCLE, we are convinced that reusable products are the solution. It's a visionary target, and we want to have this large-scale network, which is quite an undertaking, which in the beginning took an awful lot of work. We have to build this network. It only works if it's large-scale, of course, but when it does not yet exist, it's a very difficult thing to achieve. But 5 years after founding reCIRCLE, we have a great many partners already in Switzerland and in Germany. In 4 additional EU countries, we are in a test phase where restaurants are trying to implement reCIRCLE on their premises. So we have a solution for food then, and it has been around for 5 years. But we're not yet finished, and this is evident when we look at reCIRCLE Easy, our new product, which we hope will be a great alternative to disposable cups in the future. We would like to tackle this particular challenge, as well as the takeaway classic pizzas. We would like to have reCIRCLE pizza box. So watch this space, and I'm sure that it will remain an interesting topic to observe.